boys, come with me.
Where?
Down to the jamboree. We got turnip greens, candied yam, good old baked Virginia ham. The main attraction will send you that good old southern barbecue. We'll be singing high and low, we'll be rocking to and fro with a hidey-ho, while we're ripping at the barbecue.
I first heard about this project from my good friend Will Friedwald in March of 2018. He said, "Hey, Zeb, I think I got a project for Resonance." And it was clearly an opportunity of doing something just wonderful. And that is what we have done with Nat King Cole's Hittin' the Ramp, the early years, 1936 to 43.
And brother, that's a fact, we'll be solid from way back.
I had been doing some projects with Zev Feldman and George Klaban. I knew that this was right up their alley. They specialize in finding rare and in some cases completely unknown material by legendary jazz greats such as Bill Evans and Wes Montgomery and Grant Green, all kinds of great musicians.
Ripple and shuffle and your feet popping, pop your waist down.
I worked on a project in the early 90s where we had all these transcriptions by the King Cole Trio were known to exist. We were able to put them together into some kind of comprehensive order. Over the years, I kept trying to get other people interested in it.
I certainly couldn't have imagined that this project would become what it ultimately has become. It had very humble beginnings.
My incredibly great researcher, Jordan Taylor, steered me in the direction of a gentleman by the name of Matt Ruthan.
Matt, to his credit, said, we really ought to turn this into something legitimate.
It was his notion to put together everything that Nat King Cole did before he went to Capitol Records in 1943.
The sheep of Araby.
These early years in particular of our box set have been spread out over the years in a variety of different sources.
Some of them are situations where the discs just no longer exist. Most of the tracks stem from 16-inch transcription discs. We also had access to a number of original 1940s Armed Forces discs from World War II. There was a company called Cinematone. They had a thing called the Penny Phono Jukebox. The Penny Phono Jukebox contained a single 12-inch disc and 10 songs on the side. We were aware that the King Cole Trio had recorded 6 songs for Cinematone. We started to seek out Penny Phono collectors. We actually wound up going through about 170 Penny Phono tracks, and we only found one King Cole Trio track.
The flea hopper gets you. The flea hopper gets you.
When he first started as a professional musician, about the age of 15, he led his own big band in his native Chicago. Toward the end of Nat's time in Chicago, his brother Eddie, who was a bass player, saw how successful Nat was and he wanted to get off the road. The two joined forces and he more or less worked his way into Nat's band. The Decca record company took notice of the band. We had them do one session. You can hear, the true beginnings of Nat Cole as a piano player. Right after that, they got an offer to go on the road, accompanying a show that was written by Noble Sissle. They got as far as Los Angeles. There was new opportunity for him there. Within a few months, he had put together the King Cole Trio. There's all kinds of stories as to why he called it the King Cole Trio and to why it was 3 men, piano, bass, and guitar. I think the most basic explanation for that is when he met this bass player by the name of Wesley Prince, he reminded him of the old nursery rhyme about old King Cole and his Fiddlers 3, and Nat always had this sense of branding. So he decided to rename himself Nat King Cole at that point. He had already met this brilliant guitarist by the name of Oscar Moore. This was only within about 2 or 3 months of having landed and being stranded in Los Angeles.
One thing to be said about Nat King Cole is that he is one of the greatest pianists in the history of jazz. His vocal work, as marvelous as that is, often sometimes overshadows his history and lineage in terms of being a great jazz pianist.
Nat was always this wonderfully complete musician and also a very creative and inquisitive guy, somebody who was always tinkering with his craft, and he was really the height of artistic and commercial success that the 20th century has produced.
There are so many piano players who point to him as the source of their inspiration, specifically Oscar Peterson, George Shearing, Errol Garner, Ahmed Jamal. Nat's legacy at the piano is just as formidable as his legacy as a jazz singer.
We had a wonderful team here that came together to make this possible. The great author and producer Will Friedwald, researcher and historian Jordan Taylor, and Matt Luthens. We were very fortunate for the booklet of having quotes and interviews with the likes of Quincy Jones, Johnny Mathis, Tony Bennett, Harry Belafonte, and many others. Resonance Records is so proud to be able to partner with the estate of Nat King Cole to make this official release possible. To do an effort as big as this, it involves a lot of planning, resources, time, research, and we just had an amazing team that were able to pull together to make all this happen, especially in this year, the centenary of Nat King Cole's birth. Resonance Records is honored and proud to be able to spotlight this incredible portion of Nat King Cole's career.
It must have been moon glow way up in the blue. It must have been moon